This video is for sensitive women who are ready to stop letting fear of being wrong hold you back. In this video, I'll talk about why this shows up as a protective reflex and how it limits your growth and what you can do to overcome this, to heal this, so that you can open to deeper growth and understanding. I'm Monica, a healing and spiritual empowerment guide for sensitive women, and I channel my content best through writing. So I was writing a lot this morning, and I was making all sorts of notes on my notes app here. And so if you see me looking away, I was just plugging my computer back in. If you see me looking away, that's why. I am just checking in with my notes, and that really helps orient me and keep me on track. I really want to show up authentically and not be reading off a teleprompter or reading off of anything else. So yeah, with that, let's get into it. Before we do, I just have to show you the cutest little boy in the world. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about shadow, and basically share it through, first I'll kind of share it through a reflection of my own, through an example that I lived. So I, for a long time, felt really sad and had a lot of just grief and sadness around not being seen, not being mirrored in my childhood. And I think that for so many people, for so many sensitive women especially, we can get really stuck in that feeling of grief, and that feeling is real. And I want to present another side to that as well. Not to try to bypass the grief or anything like that, but just to share some deeper perspective and provoking some thoughts. So now that I've healed a lot, I am able to no longer kind of feel only stuck in that grief. I've really been able to alchemize that grief so I can recognize, like, yes, there are certain needs that this left me with, and there are certain strengths and certain things that I've been able to step into, certain parts of me that are powerful that I've been able to step into as I've healed, transformed, alchemized these wounds for myself. So I really recognize and honor the strengths that it has brought me as well. So for the example, like I said, of not being mirrored in my childhood, that comes with a lot of grief. The positive stuff that I've been able to, right, the gold that's from those shadows. A big thing with me is transforming shadows into gold. So gold that I've been able to extract, transform out of those shadows, are knowing that it has brought me out of kind of like needing to conform to certain social norms or certain just social regular things. And I'm going to give you an example in just a moment to ground this. And just being really okay with it. Let me finish my sentence. Being okay with being seen as wrong or being judged for not knowing or for not being good enough. And this is not just something that magically happened, and it's not something that I'm like fully arrived at yet. It is just something that I have been working on and have really noticed so many shifts that I've been able to overcome. So, and the example is that I was in a conversation, I don't even know, it was like a while, like years ago. I was in a conversation with someone I knew. I was at like a social gathering, and there was this guy there, and I was talking like, oh, what are you into? Or how are you? Or whatever. And he started talking about cryptocurrency. And we were having a discussion, and at some point along the way, like I don't know that much about crypto. And so something he said, I kind of paused and I was like, oh, what does that mean? And in that moment, I could really, like, I'm really sensitive to the subtle energy of things. I could see in that moment his face kind of trying to grapple with, like, like, she doesn't know what I'm talking about, or whatever. And a lot of times, we, especially sensitive women, pick up on that. Even if it's not conscious, we pick up on that, and then we kind of want to jump in and cushion, or we feel like self-judgment of like, oh gosh, he thinks I'm stupid, he thinks I don't know, whatever. And so I felt that kind of awareness arise of like, oh, okay, I wonder, right, that like ick, that shadow kind of coming up. And then instead of collapsing into that, just really being confident, like, oh yeah, what does that mean? And he very politely told me what that specific term meant. And then I was able to jump back into the conversation at a high level, and actually at an even higher level than I was before if I hadn't asked, what does that mean? If I hadn't asked and I was just like, oh yeah, and I pretended like I knew what was going on, then I'm not actually fully engaged in the conversation, one. Two, I'm not growing. I'm not learning. I am trading social acceptance and social comfortability for my own growth and my own learning. And that's just something that I'm not willing to do. And I'm not perfect. I'm sure there's still times where I might accidentally do this. But overall, I really see this strength as something that I've been able to transform from that childhood wound of not being mirrored, kind of forced me to have to figure out how to be okay with not being seen, being misunderstood in really hard ways, and still centering my identity in myself and my confidence in myself, even if other people don't think I'm an authority or confident or whatever. Most people are afraid to be seen as not knowing something. But pretending like you know when you don't, like I said, it only stunts your own knowledge, your own competence, your own growth, which is the very thing that that protective reflex is trying to protect you from in the first place, right? That is a protective reflex when we're in a conversation and we're in that situation and we want to just nod along and pretend like we know. That's a protective part of us that's trying to keep us safe, because humans are social creatures and we like to feel safe, accepted, seen, part of the group for safety. It's like a biologically like wired in thing. And so it's really natural for that protective mechanism to come online, and it actually keeps us trapped and shuts us off from learning and understanding and connecting authentically in that conversation. People who are not afraid to ask questions and stay open actually grow more competent, more quickly, more deeply. And it's not about making this protective part of yourself wrong. It's really about helping that part of you consciously understand that it has a job. That protective part is trying to do its job in keeping you safe, right? But it's about helping you consciously recognize it's trying to do a job, that the way that it's trying to do that job is not actually getting the job done in the best way for what it actually wants. So kind of discovering what is that protective part of you trying to protect, what is that need underneath that, and then opening up to a new way of something that is more actually aligned for your highest good. And for most people, this feels really dangerous because it threatens our sense of identity. And when I first started healing my shadow and recognizing other people's shadow, that's kind of a natural part. Once you start doing your own shadow work, then you kind of start seeing other people's shadows and you feel this kind of sense of like, oh, I want to help them see and make them see. And I was definitely there for like a long time, and I would feel the urge to call it out. Sorry, Mar, gotta. He's so cute. He's just like, why are you bothering me? So I right, I first started doing shadow work, I'm noticing this about myself, and then we start noticing it more about other people. And then really I felt the urge to call it out in really direct ways. But I learned really quickly that that actually causes the shadow, right, in that ego to go into even more of a defensive stance and kind of like double down on that stance, which then just keeps them trapped, right, in that exact thing that I know when I'm coming from a purely like loving place, that I know that them overcoming this would actually be for their best good and everyone's best good, but calling it out directly causes them to double down, and then that's not actually fulfilling the love intention helping thing that right, that I want to do, of this mission of helping people and of healing these things. You have to do it in a really specific ways as a guide like myself. And then when you're working with yourself with these things, it's not about shaming those parts of you. It's really about that deeper understanding and that kind of reprogramming that happens in order to heal our shadow and find the gold in our shadow. So a shadow forms when a shadow forms when a certain part of us basically feels like it's not safe to show that part of us. Usually it happens in childhood. For the most part, a lot of our shadows form in childhood, where we learned, for this example, that it's not safe to be seen as not knowing. And so that's actually dangerous to show that part of us that's not knowing, because other people will judge us or reject us or shame us or whatever. And so we actually hide away that part of us that isn't knowing. Oh, okay, it's not safe to show that part of me, that authentic part of me. And so we hide that part away, and then we identify outwardly with the opposite. So we identify with the one who is knowing of everything and is really strong in that way. Unwinding all of this is deeper than just seeing it. Like I've said, it usually means actually working with the shadow in deeper ways so that your system can know that it's safe. It's not about judging yourself, or if it's within the context of working with someone else, that someone else isn't going to be judging you, and that it's in a safe environment where you can actually kind of open those raw, dark, icky feeling parts of you to sit with them, to be present with them, to see them, to understand them. Why are you here? Thank you for being here. Ugh, there's so much about this that hurts and sucks, but I know that if you're here, it means that it's a part of me, and all parts of me optimally want to protect me. So, okay, if this is a part of me, this is something that's protecting me, it's trying to serve a need for me. What is that need? And getting curious, almost, if you want to do this work for yourself, you can like try to have a conversation with that shadow part of you of, what do you need? What purpose are you trying to serve? And like get quiet and just sit and let your answers bubble up. And then once that need is expressed of, for this example, it's a protective part of me. I'm trying to protect myself from being seen as not knowing. Then, okay, can I help that part of me see that that's actually not working to my best, highest good? Trying to be seen as knowing everything is actually causing me to be less curious, be less open, be learning less, to actually stunt and hinder my ability to grow and be more competent. So just without shame, helping that part of you see, oh, okay, this is what I need, what the need is trying to fulfill, and this is what it's actually doing. And then, okay, now that we know that, what's a better way? What could I actually be doing that would be serving that need in a better, more aligned way? And for me, like in my example, it was recognizing that there's this part of me, even with my shadow of my past of not being mirrored, and feeling that that has kind of transformed into this strength of not needing maybe as much social acceptance, whatever. There's still that part of me that feels it and sees it and is like, oh, like I don't want to be seen that way. But then it's soothing that part of me, knowing it's okay if someone else thinks whatever they think about me. I'm not in control of that. And at the end of the day, me staying open and curious and soothing that part of me is actually the thing. Asking the questions, not being afraid to be wrong, not being afraid to be seen as being wrong, right? Because even if you get it, there's a lot of people who aren't going to get it, and they're going to think you're wrong, and that's okay. That sucks. And you can soothe that part of you to feel like I'm still okay despite that. I'm sending you lots of love. I know exactly what this is like, and I know that it's possible to come out on the other side feeling so much better and so much more free and so much more aligned with what I actually value. And I hope the same for you. If you feel called to be supported in this work, I do offer that support. You can check out the description box for more info on that. Sending you so much love.